This video will help you learn how to be a moderator at a Scholar Bowl tournament. Moderators, sometimes called readers, are responsible for the flow of the match. They read each question, make rulings on whether an answer is acceptable, and control the pace of the match. Here is the basic setup for a room. Notice that the captain for each team is usually seated second from the inside. Each team may have a maximum of 4 players competing at once, and each player will have his or her own buzzer. The judges' table is where you will sit, along with the scorer and timekeeper. Before the match, moderators should preview the questions, noting unfamiliar portions and checking pronunciation. Math problems can be particularly difficult to read because of the variety of symbols involved. Also, moderators should ensure that all players' names are visible. Moderators should then conduct a buzzer check, ensuring that all buzzers work and correspond to the correct players. Also, check that all players have scratch paper for calculation questions. Once all players and personnel are ready, you may begin the round. During the match, your main responsibility is to read questions and make rulings on answers. In the first and third periods, you will read 15 toss-up questions. The second period will have 10 toss-up questions with possible bonus questions. Bonus rounds will be discussed later in the presentation. As the moderator, you control the flow of the match. To help with this, remind students that extra conversations between questions are not allowed. Also, read at a comfortable but steady pace to help keep all rooms on the same time schedule. Finally, ensure that the timekeeper and scorer are correctly performing their duties. When reading questions, always read the question number and category before each toss-up, including whether the question is a calculation or spelling question. Toss-ups may be answered by any player. Players will buzz in if they believe they have the correct answer. When a player buzzes in, stop reading, then recognize the player by saying his or her name. If the player is correct, say correct. The score will be updated and you will continue to the next question. If the player is incorrect, say incorrect, then give time for the other team to rebound. If the question you were reading was interrupted, finish the question for the rebounding team. If neither team answers correctly or time expires, read the correct answer and move to the next question. The second period has 10 toss-up questions with possible bonus. Bonus questions will have 2 parts labeled A and B. Bonus questions will only be read if the related toss-up question is correctly answered before it. For example, bonus question number 20 will only be read if toss-up number 20 was correctly answered. In the second period, if a toss-up is correctly answered by Team 1, then Team 1 gets the first chance to answer each part of the bonus. You will read bonus A, allowing Team 1 time to confer and answer first. If Team 1 is correct, move to part B. If incorrect, rebound bonus A to Team 2. If both are incorrect, read the correct answer and move to the next bonus. Remember, it is likely that some bonus questions will be skipped in the event that neither team correctly answers the toss-ups in the second period. Ruling on answers is generally straightforward, but here are a few reminders. The underlined portion for each answer is required. For example, Madison is the only requirement for James Madison, but John Quincy Adams is all required. If a player were to answer Adams, and the underlined answer is John Quincy Adams, you can prompt the player for more information. Pronunciation should be phonetically correct, but does not need to be exact. Also, players who answer before being recognized by name will receive 1 warning. After the warning, any future infraction will result in an incorrect answer. At the end of the match, if the score is tied, we will follow a tiebreak procedure. The Misha procedure gives the win to the first team to correctly answer 3 toss-ups. However, since this can take many questions to accomplish, you may adjust the procedure to best out of 3 toss-ups. Tiebreaker questions can be found at the end of each round. Double check that you are using tiebreaker questions from the current round. If more questions are needed, contact the scoring room. Here are a few helpful reminders. Do not repeat questions. If you are interrupted, simply pick up where you left off. Also, do not spell words within a question. Pronounce words as accurately as possible. If a question needs to be replaced, the replacement questions can be found at the end of each round. Use a replacement question if you accidentally provide the answer before both teams have an opportunity to answer. Also, substitutions may occur between periods or during timeouts. Finally, protests, though infrequent, might occur. If a protest occurs, pause the match and contact the scoring room. A protest will only occur if a team disagrees with the answer or with a ruling. Some other helpful reminders. Captains are the only players who should answer during the bonus round. However, they may defer their answer to a teammate. Also, there is no conferring during toss-ups. Finally, only accept the first answer given by a player. If a player needs to repeat their answer, there can be no change in that answer. After the match, ensure that the score is correct. Remind the scorer to deliver the score sheet to the scoring room, and prepare for the next round to begin. Please do not leave your questions unattended, and happy reading.